Good morning everybody. We are going to start with 7th standard lesson 1 of geography, that is environment. What do you mean by environment? Anything which we see around us is called as our environment. The air present here, the tube lights, the fans, the chair, the table, all makes my environment, or this is the classroom environment. If I go outside the classroom, if I go to the ground, I can see plants, birds, roads, vehicles, parking areas. All these constitute the ground environment, or we can call it as school environment. So anything which we see around us, maybe living thing or non-living thing, constitute our environment. So environment has two components, biotic environment and abiotic environment. Any living thing which is found around me is called as biotic environment, like trees, plants, animals, birds, and the non-living things which are present around us, like air, water, soil, bridges, classroom, school building, everything is abiotic environment. So now we can divide environment into different components. There are three components of environment: natural environment, man-made environment and human environment. Natural environment means anything which is found in nature, which is free gift of nature. Air, water, soil, plants, animals, birds, all these constitute the natural environment. What is man-made environment? If any natural thing is converted by human being to satisfy his need, it has become a man-made thing. The bridges, the school buildings, the cars, the vehicles, the roads, the transport system, everything comes under the man-made thing. So, all the things which we find around ourselves made by human being is called as man-made environment. Then what is human environment? We see human beings all around us. So humans are called as human environment. The people around us constitute the human environment. For an environment to sustain, there should be a relation between natural, man-made and human environment. Let us come to see the detail about the natural environment. Since land, water, air, plants, animals all constitute the natural environment, let us classify them into different headings. The land, which is natural environment, is part of lithosphere. What is lithosphere? Lithosphere is the hard top layer of the earth, which we call as land. So lithosphere contains rocks, minerals, and it is an irregular landform with mountains, plateaus, rivers, etc. And all this found on the land is called as lithosphere. The forests are found on lithosphere, minerals are found in lithosphere, we build houses on lithosphere, we do agriculture in lithosphere. So lithosphere is one of the important natural environment. Now I gave you example that water is also one of the natural resource. So the domain of earth where water is found is called as hydrosphere. Now hydrosphere means in sea water is available, lakes, ponds, rivers, oceans, all these things water is available. So water, the domain of earth where water is present is called as hydrosphere. And hydrosphere is necessary for all human beings, and not only for human beings but for plants and animals also, for their life to sustain. Then the third is atmosphere. The air which is present around us is the atmosphere. The gravitational force of the earth holds the air around us, or holds the atmosphere around us. The atmosphere consists of many gases, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, ozone, so many gases. And apart from gases, there are dust particles found in the atmosphere, there are water vapors present in the atmosphere. The foremost use of the atmosphere is it protects us from the ultraviolet rays that come from the sun. So atmosphere is one of the component of environment which is very useful for us. And the fourth component is the biosphere, a narrow zone of earth where life exists is called as biosphere. All the living things, plants, animals, they are present in the biosphere. Some part of lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere together constitute the biosphere. So, the part of lithosphere where life is present, the part of hydrosphere where life is present, and the part of atmosphere where life is present, these three together make a narrow zone which is called as biosphere where the life exists. So, plants and animals all are part of biosphere. So, environment is divided into three parts: natural, man-made and human environment. And the natural environment is again divided into lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere and biosphere. Now to the next topic, what is ecosystem? Now we as human beings depend on plants and animals. So we are all living things, human beings, plants, animals, all are living things. So living things when depend on each other, and we also depend on air, water and soil. So we are also dependent on non-living things. When human beings is dependent on plants and animals, that means there is relation between living things. When plants depends on human beings, or plants depends on animals, or animals depends on plants, this is the dependence of living things within each other or among each other. So there is a relation between living things also. All of us, whether it is plant, animal or human beings, they depend on non-living things also. That is our immediate surroundings, air, water. So these relation between the living things among themselves and the living things with their immediate surrounding, or the living things with the non-living things, together constitute a system called as ecosystem. So living things depend on immediate surroundings, like a plant has to depend on sunlight, plant has to depend on air, plant has to depend on water. So the plant is dependent on its immediate surroundings, and they are interdependent on each other. Here interdependent means living things depending on living things and living things depending on non-living things also. So both are interdependent on each other. So to define what is ecosystem, ecosystem is the relation between living organisms and the relation between organisms and their surroundings, which include air and water. So this together is called as ecosystem. Now there can be very big or large ecosystems also, or there can be small ecosystems also. Let us take a small ecosystem, that is pond ecosystem. In a pond, water is there, fish is there, frog is there, snakes are there, small algae, planktons are there. These all are interdependent on each other. The fish eat the small plants, then some bigger fish may eat the smaller fish. So these animals and plants are depending on each other. Also they are depending on the air and the water. As in the pond ecosystem, the living things are depending on each other, they are also depending on non-living things. Same is the case with forest. Forest has also its own ecosystem. River also has its own ecosystem. Desert, mountains all have their own small ecosystems. Let us come to the third classification of environment, that is human environment. Human has always modified the environment to suit his own needs. Previously, that means in olden days, humans used to live in perfect harmony with nature. But as the time went on, people started cultivating the land, growing crops, domesticating animals. They invented wheels. They started trade, and slowly transport developed, communication developed, industrial revolution occurred, and because of all these things, air pollution occurred, water table started depleting. So humans started altering the environment to suit his own needs, and here started the disturbance of natural environment. So the need of the hour is to maintain a perfect balance between natural environment and human environment. So this lesson basically deals with the idea that we should not destroy the environment, we should protect the environment, and we should live in perfect harmony and balance with the nature. Good morning everybody. We are going to start with 10th standards first chapter of geography, that is resource and development. What do you mean by resource? You have studied in smaller classes that resource is anything which is found on the earth and used by human beings. But let us expand this definition in 10th standard and see what all is included in the definition of resources. So anything which is found on the earth and useful for human being, provided it is technologically accessible, economically feasible and culturally acceptable, is called as a resource. So the resource should be such that we are easily able to access it through technology. So resources, if we can easily access through technology, then only it will become a resource. If we get monetary benefit out of it, it is a resource. And if it is accepted by our culture tradition, then it becomes a resource. So resource is something which is found on earth and satisfy the human needs, provided it is technologically accessible, economically feasible and culturally acceptable. Now there is a perfect dependence of human beings with nature, technology and institution. The human beings uses technology to exploit the nature and then use that to form an institution. So there is an interdependence between humans, nature, technology and institution. All of you know that the resources are classified into three categories: natural resource, man-made resource and human resource. Here we are going to lay emphasis on natural resources. So anything which is found in nature is called as natural resource. There are so many natural resources: air, water, land, animals, plants, birds. So let us classify all these natural resources on various categories. On the basis of origin, natural resources can be classified as biotic and abiotic. As the name suggests, biotic means living things and abiotic means non-living things. So any resource which is having life, plants, animals, birds, all are considered as biotic resource, and all the non-living things like minerals, soil, air, water, all are included in abiotic resource. All the things which are made by human beings using the biotic resource are also comes under the category of abiotic resources. The factories, buildings, roads, all can also come under the abiotic category. Then on the basis of exhaustibility, the resources are classified as renewable and non-renewable resources. Any resource which can be replenished again and again is called as renewable resource. Anything which we cannot replenish is called as non-renewable resource. Renewable resources include solar energy, wind energy, geothermal energy. And non-renewable resources include fossil fuels, coal, petroleum, natural gas. Once exhausted, we cannot replenish them. Then on the basis of ownership, resources are classified as individual, community, national and international. Any property which is owned by an individual, his own land, his own car, his own house, is termed as individual resource. This is based on ownership. Any resource which is used by whole community is called as community resource. Parks, cinema theaters, playgrounds, beaches, all are owned by the whole community. So that comes under community resource. Basically or technically, everything which is present in a nation, all resources belong to the nation. So as such, everything is a national resource. If a farmer is cultivating a land, but that land is required by the government for some construction purposes which will be benefit for a larger society, the government can ask that land from the farmer, because basically everything belongs to the government. So a national resource is that resource which belongs to government. And international resource means there are many international organizations. There are many international organizations which regulate the resources. The oceanic resources beyond 200 nautical miles, which comes under economic zone, that property cannot be used by any individual or any government because it is internationally owned. So on the basis of ownership, resources can be classified as individual, community, national and international. Now on the basis of status of development, resources can be classified as potential, developed, stock and reserve. Potential resources are those resources whose quantity is not known and which are not used in present. It is likely that they will be used in future. Like in Rajasthan and Gujarat, the wind energy has not been put to much use. They may be used in future. So they have the potential to be used in future. Such resources are called as potential resource. Developed resource are those resources whose quantity we know and we are using it. The soil which we are using for agriculture, that is a developed resource. Stock means there is potentiality of the resource to be used in future. We are not using it now because of lack of technology. Once technology is developed, it will be used in future. The example of stock is, we all of us know that water is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. Even though we know that it is made up of hydrogen and oxygen, we don't have the technology to mix hydrogen and oxygen and make it water. That means it is not developed. Now the fourth category is reserve. Reserve means it is a subset of stock. We have enough reserves of coal, petroleum maybe, but it is not used at present. It will be used in future. We don't have the technological know-how to use this. Once technology is developed, this can be used in future. The fourth category is reserves. Reserves is a subset of stock. We know the technical know-how, how to use it, but we have not fully used it. Like we know how to generate electricity or hydroelectric power using the dams. But in some areas only we have developed it, we have not developed it fully. So we have kept the reserves for the future use. Same is the case with forest. There can be many things which we can do out of forest, but the reserves are kept for the future. It was considered that resource is a free gift of nature. so human can use it as they want. And because of this notion, the development without having any concern for the nature, that created so many problems. One of the problem was depletion of resources for satisfying the greed of few individuals. There is a very few section of people who is having, who is owning most of the resources. So only this greed of some individuals are getting satisfied by the use of these resources. Then same is the case with there is a very small percentage of rich people, and all the resources are accumulated in their hand, because of which the society is divided into rich and poor, or haves and have-nots. Then the indiscriminate use of resource has also led to global economic ecological crisis. Global warming, you might have heard about global warming, ozone layer depletion, then land degradation, environmental pollution. All things are occurring because of indiscriminate use of resources. So the need of the hour is to use the resources in a planned way, so that the benefit of resources is shared by all the people living on the earth.